Welcome back to Mojo Whiskey Bar. Hope you're having a fantastic time. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good.
Have you adjusted back to from your life as a gypsy?
I sort of. Amanda and I have talked about this. I think, if we were empty nesters,
Be going all the time.
probably. We've got the camper that we don't use as much as I'd like. But I think if we had, if it was just she and I think we would use that more. And then, kind of thinking,
That day's coming.
I know. It's like we can almost number them now.
That's right.
But even having like a camper van,
Yeah,
man, I could do that.
Yeah,
all the time. Just go from one, because there's so many cool towns.
there's a lot. Yeah.
Like little towns that are sadly, a lot of these towns aren't going to be on the map much longer because everything's getting like bigger and bigger and bigger.
Commercialized.
Yeah.
Taking it. Yeah.
I mean, our kind of the joke Amanda and I have when we drive is like when you're driving on the interstate, every town is historic.
Everyone. Yeah.
And maybe they are, but you do, when you get off the beaten path a little bit, you find some really cool places,
The ones that aren't advertising at historical towns are probably the more historical
probably
towns.
so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could get into it. I mean, Indiana's been great to me, but I like just going out and about.
You could
finding
go
places.
to all the local distilleries and chase Bigfoot, because I know eventually you'll find him.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if I drink enough bourbon or whiskey,
never give up.
I might see him.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that's like the fun part of whiskey right now. And I give a lot of credit to those that paved the path, the big boys, the Woodfords, the Jim Beams, the Wild Turkeys, the Old Foresters, and so on. But I think, to me, this is the most fascinating part of whiskey right now. Is there a lot of small craft distilleries that are making some phenomenal products?
Oh, it's outstanding. And they're not, they want to get their product out there, yes, but they're not looking to make a cookie cutter product.
That's right.
They are looking to kind of open it up, and they're kind of looking to add, get aromas in it and taste in it that
different flavor profiles, something that's a little bit unique. To me, so like before I got into like whiskey. Oh wait, I forgot. While I'm thinking about it, before we get too far into this, like, share, subscribe. Certainly helps us out a lot. We're on a drive to get to 100 subscribers on our YouTube, and if you just click that subscribe button, that helps us out a whole bunch, more than you'd ever know. So please do that, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and also on Instagram as well. But as I was saying, before I was into whiskey, I was into beer.
Yeah.
And I think I got probably about, I'm guessing here, about 10 years ago, I started to get into craft beer.
Okay.
Right. And it was kind of like at the front end of the craft beer explosion.
Mm-hmm.
There were craft breweries all over the place. And then we would go to beer festivals in these little towns, and we'd always look up the breweries. But I think whiskey is like that now.
It's like that now.
Yeah. It's just like 10 years later, because there are some phenomenal places. And I think that's the cool part. And these little small towns and these little communities, and they're not making a ton of product, but they focus on the craft. They focus on the quality.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're making something that's a little bit different, a little bit unique. And they're experimenting with some cool ingredients.
Oh yeah. The taste profile of a lot of these smaller distilleries are something you will not find at your big commercialized distillery. No. And there's nothing wrong with those distilleries. I mean, they're putting out some good stuff as well. But the taste profile of these places is unreal. And
when you go visit them, chances are you're going to bump into somebody that either distills it or is involved in the process. Yeah. And they're going to be so proud and want to share so much about that. So that's kind of the cool part. Now, I know that what we're about to dive into today, I believe they're much smaller scale. I have not had the chance to visit this particular distillery. I came across this on a visit to Edisto a few years ago. We have a place in Edisto, South Carolina. If you want to go there, let us know. We'll be happy to send that link to you. Phenomenal place. You need to go down there sometime. You would love it. But there's a couple. I mean, this is a sleepy little town. There's not a lot of commercial activity. There's no fast food. There's no high rises. It's pretty much just a sleepy little beach town. And They have 2 little liquor stores there, and they're both decent. Mm-hmm. But I saw this bottle the first time, and I've kind of been a sucker and I've fallen in love with South Carolina for a long time. But they've got the classic palmetto on this, and I'm like, I gotta get the bottle, because I've told you, sometimes I'm a sucker for a bottle. Yeah. Sometimes what's inside is not as good, but this is the Charleston Distilling Company Vesey's Straight Bourbon. And it is 47% or 94 proof. It's number 19, whatever that's worth. And I think I've gotten this for you before. So this is not new to either of us, but it's new maybe to you all. So let's dive in. Classic bourbon.
Yeah, I mean.
But it's like there is the sweetness there, but it's like, this has become to the point where this reminds me of going to Edisto, and I enjoy that place so much that it just brings back those memories. But
now I'm getting a hint of some type of a berry on the nose.
It's like a strawberry.
And
wait, hang on. Go ahead, keep going.
And I know we've had this before. I've had a bottle of it before, and
we keep smelling the back of our hand because that's supposed to like cleanse your palate and your nose and that sort of thing.
I don't recall the berry flavor as prevalent as I do.
I don't either. Now, in fairness, this bottle has been open. I mean, it was barely any of it out, and I've had it for. I've had this one for a minute. I can't remember exactly when I got it, but probably a good 6 months or so.
And that kind of goes back to some of our past videos. We're talking about, that bottle will open up.
Yeah.
That the bourbon in there will open up.
You get a little bit more air in there, and it's gonna
change a little bit.
But I agree. There is a berry there, and I don't remember this one having a berry.
Which that's good. When you have that sweetness, it's a berry. It is a different sweetness, but there's a sweet bourbon. Like you said,
it's almost like a peach in there too for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like a blackberry, strawberry, very fruity. Blackberry, strawberry, peach, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, it's good. It's a good smell. It's a little sweet on the nose, but not like in a Buffalo Trace sweetness. And I like Buffalo Trace, but it's really, really sweet, I think. See, almost on the front, I get a little oakiness.
You do, and
but the fruit is there.
The fruit is right there.
So good.
It is
peach on the tail end for me.
It's warmer than I thought it would be
especially for the proof.
Yeah, for the proof point.
Yeah.
Now it's not killer. Oh
no,
both of us like a little higher proof stuff.
I get a lot of peach on that tail end.
You do. There's that smoky. It's almost like a smoky fruit flavor.
And maybe smoky is probably a better way to describe it versus oaky. Smoky is probably better. It's almost like you go to like a good, like greasy, like you kind of think twice about going there barbecue joint.
Yeah.
But you walk in and
you can't help yourself.
And you get your taste in the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the fruit's there. But for me, it's peach.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not trying to talk you into it.
I'm more berryish.
I get that though.
And it's almost like where the nose I felt was more a fresh berry. This is more like a cooked down berry.
This for me, it's like a more of. I know you're berry, I'm peach, but it's like a peach cobbler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can
smoky.
I can see a good
because there's it's like almost like there's like like you get not a pie, more of a cobbler. You get more of the oats, the brown sugar.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And this is one of those small distilleries.
Yeah.
These are taste profiles that you're not going to get at your standard cookie cutter bourbon.
No.
And like you said, we drink all that stuff as well. So,
we do, yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that stuff, but this is a change.
I fell in love with this the first time I had it, and
you cannot get this stuff up here.
You can't.
This is,
I don't even think you can order it online.
Yeah, this is something. I was lucky enough. John brought a bottle back, but
Well,
you're not getting that.
I have a prediction. I won't write it down. I'll just trust me when I tell you the prediction here in a moment when we get to this next bottle.
Okay.
But any more on the Vesey straight bourbon whiskey, number 19?
So this is I tried it here once, had a bottle of it, and tried it now. Each time it's been a little different.
And I wonder if
and it's good. It's good every time. It's just different, a little different each time.
But to your point, the big boys, they have their thing dialed in,
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Where if you get, I'm not going to pick on any one or the other, but you get a Wild Turkey or a Jim Beam or a Maker's Mark or Woodford, it's gonna, whether you get it 10 years ago or you get it today, it's gonna taste probably the same.
It will.
Whereas this, I gotta imagine there's gonna be a little bit batch to batch variation.
Yeah.
I just gotta imagine that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with
it. No, not at all.
Because more or less, they're sort of their tolerance, if you will, is a little bit broader. But the nominal is right there. But one day you may be more here, and another day may be more here.
And really, the small distilleries, that difference between barrels and batches is what keeps us coming back.
Yeah, because I want as we talked about like that craft distillery.
Mm-hmm.
That was sort of the appeal of like the craft breweries for me is, more or less it's going to be good, but from one day to the next, or rather 1 month to the next, or from one batch to the next, it's going to be a little bit different. Like there's a place literally like right across the street from our neighborhood that's Indiana's only brewery, winery, distillery. Cedar Creek. I love those guys, but they have a beer there that I really like, and it's called Haystorm, and it's good. It's a hazy IPA for what it's worth, and they just last time we were over there, like maybe a few weeks ago, they just had a new batch. Mm-hmm. And it's so much better than I remember it being, right? And I think you get that sometimes when you get to the craft. So you ready to dive into the rye? All right. So this is the also Charleston Distilling Company Crosstown Rye, bottled and bond. That's 100 proof. So what I like about, it's not an absolute, but what I like about bottled and bond, for those of you that may not be aware of this, and I don't remember the year, but apparently back in the day, people were trying to create bourbons and rye whiskeys and whatnot, and they were trying to pass them off as older than they were. And I've heard stories that they would put tobacco juice, all sorts of iodine, and all sorts of things to try to get this deep amber color. Mm-hmm. And it was bad product. So this is where the government did a good thing. Yeah. The government sometimes does good things.
That's where the term gut rot whiskey comes from, because that's what you were getting.
Who knows what people were putting in it? But the government stepped in and said, "Whoa, wait a minute! We've got to put some controls. We've got to put some regulations." And this is a case where the regulations were a good thing. So they implemented the Bottled and Bond Act. And I'm gonna keep it super high level summary here. Bottled and bond means that when the grains that go into the whiskey have to be harvested in the same year that they distill it, and it has to be that there's criteria about the proof that goes in the barrel and whatnot, but it has to be stored in a government-controlled facility, and it has to be when it's bottled, it has to be bottled at 100 proof. So when it says bottled and bond, to me, I mean, you're a quality guy. Yeah. You've been in this space. I've been in this space too. Yeah. That says there's a quality control in place. That it's all right. This was made under certain.
They're going to be pretty consistent.
They're going to be pretty consistent.
Even the small stuff's going to be pretty consistent with the bottled and bond.
Because they're meeting this criteria. Yeah. So if you're new to whiskey, or even if you're not, and it doesn't mean what's inside is good. It just means when it says bottled and bond, it means that it followed certain quality conditions and criteria in order to make it.
Right.
Now, most of the time, bottled and bond. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because I've had some that I didn't like it. But whiskey's a preference.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the rye. Same bottle. I mean, it is more rye-ish.
It's rye-ish. We'll say that.
And I don't know how they age this. I don't know where they age it. But I gotta believe, like, there's some things when you get outside of Kentucky and it's distilled and bottled by Charleston Distilling on Johns Island, which is right outside Charleston. So that says to me that this is getting exposed to the sea air.
Yeah.
And to me, I get a little bit of that, like, almost like at the ocean. Like when you first arrive to the ocean, you can feel the salt in the air.
Right.
And I get a little bit of saltiness.
You do. There's salt right on it. Another odd note that I'm getting. So recently, I decided I was going to make some fresh buttermilk biscuits for biscuits and gravy.
All right.
So what I'm getting in this...
Do you have a good recipe?
Yeah, it was fairly simple.
All right.
Yeah. Now, ladies, I'm taken. I know I can drink bourbon and rye, and I can cook a little bit, and that's about the extent of it. So I'm taken.
Thank goodness, Jesse.
Yeah. She really won the lottery there, buddy.
Yeah, Jesse's a good one. She's putting up with you. So. And
so,
Amanda's a great one because she's putting up with me. So,
but I get the dough smell out of it.
I get, yes.
I mean, that's what's...
oh, my goodness. Your nose is on the point today.
I'm on fire today, yeah.
Biscuit dough, salt, but raw, not cooked.
Not cooked, that's right, yeah.
Salt. There's something else there. There's I almost get like a grape. Like a muscadine grape. You ever had a muscadine grape?
Mm-mm.
I got some upstairs. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I can't get past the salt in the dough.
That's good. All right, that's a pretty good nose. I mean, but at the same time, it's like familiar. It's almost like, okay, I know it's a rye.
You know it's a rye.
And maybe I'm programmed because I read the label.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to do. We need to do blinds.
Agree.
But maybe you do a blind for me and I'll do a blind for you. Or maybe, when Amanda's here, she can pour a blind for both. But we'll do the blinds here soon because I don't know that I would say this is a rye if I didn't know it was a rye.
Yeah.
But that biscuit dough is right there. All right, I'm going in. I mean, I can't stop thinking about biscuit dough.
And really, you can kind of taste it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The biscuit dough is there. It's not an overpowering heat from a typical rye. This is really good for me.
So good.
And what's interesting is you have on the nose, you have the fresh dough.
Yeah.
On the palate, what I'm getting is more of that dough that's sit there 15, 20 minutes, and it's kind of started to dry a little bit. But it's doughy. It's a little bit of a saltish. And so this is really good.
I mean, I almost got a little bit of fruit on the tail end too, but I'm going back to maybe it's a grape. I don't know. I got a little bit of grape on the nose.
I might need to have a bottle of this come back from South Carolina at some point.
Well, let's just say the last time I was there, I bought a bottle, finished it, had to go buy another one to bring one home.
I believe it.
It's so good. But yeah, that could be arranged.
That is really good.
These are both really
solid. I do get that dough off out of the nose in the palate. They kind of marry up.
And this is the great thing about whiskey for me is pretty much the things I seek out right now. I mean, sometimes you don't know if you've ever had it before, but I love that I can go into my stash and there's so many different flavor profiles.
Oh, it's rare that you find two that are exactly alike. It's almost, I don't know. You're going to pull something out that you thought was impossible. I would never have guessed this would have had a doughish.
And I don't think it presents as a rye on the taste. It's a little bit there, but it's not the dominant.
No, but these are two really good
and
products.
It's 100% rye.
100% rye. That's.
I'll have to look into what the rye, because there's just like corn. There's like so many different variations of rye, but it is really good. So, any other thoughts on these before we wrap this one up?
Unfortunately, like we said, you can't buy this around here. If you are in the area, if you are visiting John's place, grab one of these. I mean, you will not go wrong with either one of these.
Greenboat Discount Liquors.
Yeah. So.
Actually, I got this at Bob's Sea Spirits.
Bob's Sea Spirits?
Yeah. But either one, there's a couple of little mom and pop liquor stores there, and they actually have a pretty good selection.
Yeah,
of biscuits, but it's good.
Really good stuff. I mean,
and if you want one, next time I'm going down there,
how's the price point on these? Are they affordable?
Like 60-ish.
No, that's not bad. I mean, really, for what you're getting, this is pretty good.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, thank you all. Appreciate you all.
Share and like.
All of it. Thank you all for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Remember, we're on that drive to get to 100 subscribers. And, one of the things that I've got 3 empty bottles of this rye. And so Jamie has a craft that he does, and we might introduce that here soon.
Yeah, we will.
And we might give something away. So, you need to subscribe and tune in to find out when we're going to give something away. So, anyway, thank you all.
Thank you.